First in high definition from the station on your side, this is WAVY News 10.
We begin with breaking news out of Southwest Virginia. Tonight, a jury ruled in favor of two families suing Virginia Tech in the deadly 2007 shootings.
Jurors found the university negligent for not warning the campus earlier about the gunman. Those jurors awarded the two families $4 million each in the wrongful death civil suit. But state law limits that amount to $100,000 each. It took the jury 3.5 hours to reach that decision. The state immediately filed a motion to reduce the award. The family said their daughters might be alive today if Virginia Tech police and officials warned students of two shootings in a dorm more than 2 hours earlier. The gunman killed 32 people before shooting himself. Tonight at 5:30, hear Virginia Tech's response to the ruling.
Attacked at gunpoint, a woman says that a man tried to sexually assault her in Virginia Beach. A neighbor heard the victim screaming and ran to help her. Investigators say it happened around 6:30 Tuesday morning along Sedley Road in the Green Run area. That's where we find 10 on your side's Jason Marks right now, who is gathering details. Jason.
Yeah, Alvita, and police tell us that woman was doing the same thing she does every morning, and that's walk straight down Sedley Road towards Campion Avenue. But that's when a man came up to her, pulled out a gun, and then tried to sexually assault her.
So, you know, to hear something like this, it's kind of scary.
Things just don't seem the same on Sedley Road in Virginia Beach.
Pretty scary feeling to know you're not safe in your own neighborhood.
Neighbors are on edge after a woman was attacked yesterday morning.
It should strike a fear in everybody's mind.
Police say the woman went for a morning walk around 6. She told police she noticed a man dressed in all black. She saw him several times. At every turn, there he was. Before she had a chance to get home, the suspect pulled out a gun and tried to rape her.
I mean, I can't even explain. That's like the worst thing that could ever happen.
During the struggle, a neighbor came outside and heard the woman's cries for help. That neighbor scared off the suspect before he was able to assault her.
Yeah, that's something you don't hear a lot in this neighborhood.
Ron Pringle woke up to find police in front of his home. He, like so many in the neighborhood, can't believe something like this happened and hopes the suspect will soon be off the streets.
Yeah, people like that don't need to stay on the street long.
And what has neighbors really fearful is the fact that Sedley Road has a lot of traffic, foot traffic, joggers, families, people walking dogs. So that has everyone a little bit on edge tonight. Unfortunately, all we really have is a vague description of the suspect, but if you do have any information, give Virginia Beach Police a call. That's the latest here in Virginia Beach. Jason Marks, 10 on your side.
A Virginia Beach police officer is in the hospital after a hit-and-run crash. Police say 28-year-old Shakia Allen slammed into the officer's cruiser just before 2 this morning, then ditched her car and started running. It happened at the intersection of Virginia Beach Boulevard and First Colonial Road. And that's where we find 10 on your side's Melanie Woodrow. Melanie?
Well, according to police, both Allen and the police officer had green lights, but Allen made a left-hand turn just over my shoulder here, and police say she did not yield the right-of-way.
The officers are out there daily, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Their office actually is their police car.
Virginia Beach Police spokesperson Jimmy Barnes says the officer who got hit was on his way to a call of shots fired at Mermaid's Gentlemen's Club. He never made it there. Police say Shakia Allen hit the driver's side. Fire and rescue crews removed the officer from his vehicle. He was taken to a local hospital in serious condition with head trauma.
We understand he's doing much better this afternoon, and that's the good news for this afternoon.
Barnes says he is now conscious and speaking.
The whole department is supporting him and calling our phones asking how he's doing.
Police found Allen nearby, and when they did, she confirmed it was her car at the intersection. Allen is now facing felony hit and run and DUI first offense charges. Police have not said if Allen was under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or both. While she waits for a bond hearing, the Virginia Beach Police Department is waiting to learn the latest condition of their brother in blue, who joined the force just 13 months ago. And we stopped by Allen's house this afternoon. We'll have that part of the story coming up tonight at 6. Reporting live in Virginia Beach, Melanie Woodrow, 10 on your side.
Shakia Allen's bond hearing is scheduled for 1:30 tomorrow.
The Chesapeake Fire Department identified the man killed during a fire in his home. Firefighters found 65-year-old Dan Collins dead inside his Dorcas Road home on Tuesday morning. A dog also died in that fire. Investigators are still working to determine what sparked the flames.
Virginia Beach could have a light rail referendum on the November ballot. That news first reported on WAVY.com. In his State of the City address, Mayor Will Sessom said it's time to let the people decide. 10 on your side's Andy Fox has more on what the mayor said.
Everywhere I go, people of all ages say, we have to get light rail to Virginia Beach. I concur 100%.
Tapping into Norfolk light rail success, Mayor Will Sessom is calling for a referendum to ask Virginia Beach voters whether they want the tide to roll to the beach.
In my mind, you have the largest number of people voting in a presidential race. Tell me something that's more democratic.
The mayor called on Councilman Jim Wood to find out if the referendum can be on the November 6th ballot. A similar referendum was defeated in 1999.
Over that period of time, sure. I mean, what's that, 14 years, 13 years? You know, people certainly change.
City activist Robert Dean worked against the 99 referendum and will work against this one too.
The taxpayers have put out, I believe it's $6.4 million to do a study, and so now he wants to preempt the study. And if I can borrow a phrase from A Few Good Men, Jack Nicholson, he can't handle the truth. And maybe that's what he's afraid of. He wants to try to get a referendum out there before the people know what it's going to cost and how few people are going to ride it.
That Virginia Beach light rail study is due by the end of the year.
I am totally in support of light rail coming to Virginia Beach, and I feel that the voters will support it as well.
Stay tuned. The political fight to bring light rail to the beach is rolling down the line. I'm Andy Fox, 10 on your side.
10 on your side discovered the referendum must be approved by the Virginia Beach Circuit Court and then certified and sent to the State Board of Elections. The deadline is August 17th.
Crooks are cleaning up in Newport News, walking out of stores stealing containers of laundry detergent. Police are looking for Ricky Black Jr. and 2 other people in the so-called Tide thefts. They say the 3 stole laundry detergent from a Dollar General on Jefferson Avenue last month. We're digging deeper into these crimes on WAVY News 10 at 5:30. Hear why police say the suspects are stealing the laundry detergent. Well, when Suffolk police told us that the man found at Suffolk school was from Portsmouth, they didn't give us much information. 10 on your side tried to get more details today. The man showed up at Nansman Suffolk Academy on yesterday and claimed his name was Serlin. He said he was 15 from Emporia and a student at the school. An NSA spokesperson told 10 on your side that he never went inside the school buildings. Police say he's actually 22 years old and reunited with his Portsmouth family last night. A Suffolk spokesperson says that a medical situation prevents them from releasing his name or how he ended up in Suffolk.
Vice President Joe Biden will address the class of 2012 at a local school. The White House announced today Vice President Biden will deliver the commencement address at Tallwood High School in Virginia Beach on June 14th. He's also addressing the graduating class out of Florida High School and graduates of the U.S. Military Academy at West Point.
Once trusted for protecting people, tonight a former Isle of Wight County Sheriff's deputy is behind bars. What charges he faces after a lengthy investigation, new at 5:30.
And new information in a deadly shooting rampage in Afghanistan. We'll tell you what happened to the U.S. soldier accused of the attack, plus details of a fiery incident right before the Secretary of Defense's plane touched down in the country.
Plus, shots fired outside a courthouse. What happened when the gunfire stopped?
Look at our temperatures, obviously very warm for us, but there's no real cool air out there to move on in, so it's really going to stay warm. Highs today were generally in the upper 70s, around 80 degrees. What's going to be for tomorrow? Even warmer. We'll tell you about that in just a few minutes.
You're watching WAVY News 10 at 5 with Tom Shad, Nicole Ribas, and Super Doppler 10 Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
Gunfire outside a Texas courthouse. Police say a man killed 1 person and wounded 3 others when he shot several rounds in front of the building in Beaumont. The suspected gunman is in custody. Investigators say he was going to court with family members when he started shooting. Police say the suspect also hit one of the shooting victims with his truck as he tried to escape. Detectives say he then went into a nearby business and briefly held several people hostage before surrendering. And violence in Ohio today. Police say a man stabbed 4 people in a downtown Columbus office building. Investigators say when the suspect attacked the first victim, witnesses took away 1 knife, but they didn't realize he had another 2 knives. That building houses a career college and offices for employees of the Ohio Attorney General. An employee of the Attorney General is among those hurt. A police officer shot the suspect as he left the building. The Suspect and victims are in the hospital in critical condition. A tractor trailer and a school bus collided, leaving more than a dozen people hurt. It happened just before 3 in Rockwood, a small Pennsylvania town near Pittsburgh. You can see the school bus and tractor trailer involved there. At least 8 people went to the hospital for treatment. No word yet on how many children were on the bus or what caused this crash.
The American soldier accused of killing 16 Afghan civilians during a shooting spree is no longer in Afghanistan. That's according to a military official who says the soldier is in confinement in another country, but didn't give a reason for that move. Secretary of Defense Leon Panetta made an unannounced trip to Afghanistan today. White House says the trip was scheduled before Sunday's attack. Panetta met with troops and Afghan leaders.
We have to learn the lessons from each of those incidents, so that we do everything possible to make sure that they don't happen again.
Around the time Panetta landed today, the military says that an Afghan man in a stolen truck drove onto the runway, crashed into a ditch, and then set himself on fire. The suspect survived. Investigators are trying to figure out a motive. Panetta's plane landed at a different location, but officials say he was never in any danger.
A police chase ended with a crash. Hear what started it all and what police found inside the truck when it was all over.
The USS Enterprise pulled away from the pier at Naval Station Norfolk for her final voyage this weekend. So why is the Big East still off the coast? 10 on your side, Art Khan is just off the ship and has the answer. The final deployment of the USS Enterprise got underway 3 days ago.
But the ship and her crew are still working off the Virginia-North Carolina coast. 10 on your side's Art Khan was the only local journalist aboard the Enterprise to cover the arrival of the carrier air wing. Art's back now to bring us up to date on the ship's progress. Art?
Nicole and Alvita, Enterprise is still working off our coast. You see, recovering the air wing is a lengthy process. That's because the planes aren't just flying out to the ship and then parked in the hangar bay. The pilots have to be recertified to land and take off from the flight deck. It's a process known as carrier qualifications, or CQ, and it must be done before Enterprise can steam east for the Mediterranean Sea. Whether it is a massive E-2 Hawkeye landing on the flight deck, or a sleek EA-6B Prowler catapulting off the bow, or any plane from the carrier's air wing conducting flight operations, the ship must be pointed in the right direction.
We're kind of a prisoner to the wind when we want to fly. The ship has to turn into the wind.
Right center rudder, steady on course at 076.
The ship will steam east as it heads to the Mediterranean. If the wind was out of the east throughout their passage, they could conduct carrier quals while en route. But the only constant with the wind is that it changes direction routinely.
Then you'd have to turn back into the wind to do flying, and now it upsets the schedules.
This training is vital to the proficiency of the pilots, especially as they fly aboard this aircraft carrier. The island house on the Enterprise is taller than the superstructures on Nimitz-class carriers.
So it creates a little bit of turbulent air, nothing that you would notice if you weren't a pilot trying to fly that absolutely perfect landing.
Safety is the main objective, so every landing is scrutinized.
Everything we do out here, we're graded on, and that adds a little stress to it. And we're all Type A, want to be the best.
Stress is not limited to the pilots. The crew of the flight deck has one of the most dangerous jobs on Earth.
You got to keep your head on swivel at all times.
Once carrier qualifications are complete, the emphasis aboard ship will shift to their destination.
So we'll probably race pretty much almost all the way across before we fly again, which is why we're getting everybody qualified right now.
Now, when I spoke with the captain yesterday, he assured me that the Enterprise is on schedule and will probably make the turn east sometime tomorrow afternoon. Tonight at 5:30, I'll tell you more about what life aboard USS Enterprise is like on the final deployment of a ship sailing into history. Art Khan, 10 on your side.
Now, in high definition, your Super for 10 forecast with Chief Meteorologist Don Slater.
This beautiful weather is something else, isn't it? Wow.
It is so fantastic. We don't want it to end.
I just shouted before Art left.
Yeah.
Did you fly off the carrier? Yeah.
Yeah, he flew into the newsroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and on Chopper 10. They put Chopper 10
There
on
you
a
go.
slingshot.
His arms
and flew
must
it
be
out.
tired.
Yeah, here's a look at what's going on right now. Beautiful, beautiful weather, quite obviously. Have had a little sea breeze kick in during the afternoon, so it's cool things down near the shoreline occasionally, but hardly a cloud in the sky out there. In fact, on the tower cam, a time-lapse sequence, you can hardly see anything moving on in. But you can see the temperatures. We did have temperatures which warmed up pretty rapidly in Norfolk after lows this morning were basically around 60 degrees. And we actually warmed up to 78 early in the afternoon, and then it dropped on down because of a sea breeze, but bad sea breeze has kind of fizzled on out for Norfolk, so it's 78 degrees as of 5 o'clock. In Newport News, not a sea breeze really to cool things on down. It's been basically around 80 all afternoon, really since late this morning, upper 70s around 80. Virginia Beach, sea breeze late in the afternoon did indeed cool things down to 73. And for the area right now, here's what's going on. Current temperatures, again, 78 in Newport News and Norfolk, 73 degrees at the beach. High today, 80 degrees, 76 in Hampton, 81 in Chesapeake and Suffolk. So obviously a very warm day, and very warm this spring. Again, our fourth warmest winter on record. How are we doing so far? My colleague Jeff Edmondson put this together, and as far as 2011, right there's the column for 2011. There's the column for this year, where we've had 30 days above 60 degrees, 10 days above 70, and 3, including today, at 80 or above. Now, these are for Norfolk, where records have been kept the longest, so it means the most. Again, a really, really big comparison there. Much, much warmer than last year. Look at the temperature today. Again, 78, 80 degrees near the water areas. Again, we've cooled on down into the upper 60s and low 70s. And our high temperature today, generally around 80, 82 degrees for the most part. So again, very, very warm. It's likely to be a degree or two warmer for tomorrow. Tomorrow's record is 84. We're likely to be into the low 80s for most of the region. Low 70s surrounded by water. Then 82, 84 for mainland areas of northeast North Carolina. 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, and again, we could pop up briefly to 84 in the middle of the afternoon, which is the record set back in 1973. Mostly sunny for the peninsula, light southerly wind, 80 to around 83 degrees. Middle peninsula, northern neck, eastern shore, 79 to 81 degrees. So again, very, very warm. That's the biggest part of the story. Warmer air is going to continue. How about the rest of the story? Cloud cover, not really all that much coming up for tomorrow. Lots of sunshine tomorrow. Stray cloud or two perhaps kicked up by a sea breeze, and then we start to see some more cloud cover move in tomorrow night and into the day on Friday. There's where we are Friday noon. Friday at the end of the day, you saw a stray shower pickup. I think we could see a little bit of rain, though, coming up Friday night into the early part of the day on Saturday. So again, we'll put a little rain shower there Friday night, early part of the day Saturday. Cooler Saturday, but still not bad for St. Patty's Day. 71, 67 on Sunday. Temperatures into the upper 60s there and low 70s into next week. But again, the next couple of days, low 80s.
Many of us used them instead of the internet for our reports while we were growing up. Yes, times have changed. We'll tell you about the big change for one company printing encyclopedias for more than 200 years.
And poisoned by the military? New at 5:30, we're on your side with new details in the toxic tap water case in North Carolina.
A 10 on your side consumer alert. General Motors is recalling cars because of a problem with the parking lights. GM says that the parking lights on 2012 Buick Regal sedans won't activate when drivers turn on the headlight switch. The problem could cause a crash because of reduced visibility. GM is expected to contact owners this week about the recall.
Before the internet, there were encyclopedias. It's the end of an era for Encyclopedia Britannica. After 244 years, they're going out of print. The 32-volume set from 2010 is the last. Instead, the company says it'll focus on its online encyclopedia, apps, and education tools. The printed encyclopedias add up to less than 1% of Britannica's total sales. The company says it makes most of its money from educational products.
A man tried to rob a restaurant drive-thru by jumping through the window. We'll show you why it didn't turn out the way he planned.
And many urologists are experiencing their own version of hear why this is their busiest time of the year. That's new at 5:30. We have some breaking news to tell you about from Northampton County. The Sheriff's Department says it recovered a man's body this morning from a pond near Bahama Road in Cape Charles. The body is at the medical examiner's office in Norfolk to determine and identify the cause of death. Keep it here with WAVY News 10 and WAVY.com for the latest on that breaking news. A police pursuit in California ended with the crash and a child in a car seat pulled from the truck. It all started last night when Los Angeles officers say they tried to pull over a suspected drunk driver, and the driver took off. Look at that. Eventually, a patrol car rammed into the truck there, and that's when the driver and a woman surrendered. Officers searched the truck and spotted a toddler in a car seat. No one was hurt.
Perhaps a man thought that drive-through meant dive-through.
She opens up the cash register. The suspect jumps on the hood of the car, dives headfirst into the Burger King through the drive-through window, then tries to steal some cash. Once inside, the female employee is able to grab onto him as he's trying to flee with the money.
Security cameras rolled as it happened in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The woman working the register grabbed him and screamed for help.
He's trying to make his final push to get out of there. He's getting on his feet, and I think the employee realizes this and actually uses a wrestling move to take him down, slam him back to the ground.
When I heard her screaming and yelling and carrying on, I came up to see what was going on. She had a little problem, so I just helped out.
Police arrested the suspect. He is now charged with robbery. A transformer fire knocked out power to 21,000 homes and businesses in Boston. The transformer exploded Tuesday night in a garage next to a hotel. Thick black smoke poured into the air. Crews evacuated the hotel. The power problems and smoke also affected public transit and shut down a tunnel and a major highway for several hours. 11,000 didn't have power this morning. The cause of that fire is still under investigation. Laundry detergent is a tempting target in Newport News.